oh, it's my second most genius plan. My number one most genius plan was that D&D prank I did with my character Luna. Which I think I've told that story on stream, but I'll tell it again. For the people watching the VOD, or the people in chat that might not know. So I had this D&D character Luna, who was a half-elf trickster cleric, well, a female half-elf trickster cleric. I like playing female D&D characters, usually. Don't judge me, I just like it. I like being something that I'm not. That's okay. And basically, she has this spell called Modify Memory, which allows you to modify someone's memory, right? And Luna had been with the party for not for too long, right? Not that long, but enough to meet everyone, understand what's going on, all that stuff. Because she was the replacement for my other cleric that died, my war cleric Yasuda, who got suplexed. No, she got power bombed or whatever the movie is. Like the one where you grab someone and jump. She got power bombed by this monkey demon off the side of the airship, and the entire she's really high up in the air, and she was falling, and she managed to kill it mid-air before she landed on the ground and splattered to death. But anyway, she was the replacement for Luna was the replacement for Yasuda. And while she was with the party, she realized that these two party members, Joran, who's kind of like the party leader, she is a thick mummy, dummy mummy, dragonborn wizard. And also the other dragonborn, who was a monk called Char. She figured out that they like each other, but both are too afraid to make the first move. So... Luna, the lovable prankster, she thought it would be the greatest thing in the world if she could get them together, right? She played matchmaker, and I'm being raided. Hi, Mask. I'm telling D&D stories. I'll quickly shout out Mask, and then I'll get back to my D&D story, because I do like the stories. I think it's very good. Final Fantasy, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, back to my story. So Luna thought that she would play matchmaker, and one night, because we were staying at this giant's palace, so the male and female party members were put into two different dorms, two different rooms. So Luna, what she did was she waited till everyone was asleep, and then she woke up, and she cast Modify Memory on Joran, and my friend Regan, she was playing Joran, and I was like, hey, what's your wisdom modifier? And she said, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what my wisdom save is, okay? You will try to modify memory me, and if I make the save, I make the save. If I fail, I fail. And I'm like, okay. So she rolled. She failed. Apparently her wisdom was insanely high, and I didn't know that, so it was very unlikely that I was going to succeed. Or that she was going to fail, but she did fail. Which means Luna got to modify her memory. So what Luna did was, she made Joran believe that the previous day, when they were entering the palace, that Joran got Char alone and confessed her feelings for him, and that they were now a couple, right? And then Luna waited till because her spells recharge at a certain time of day. So she made sure she woke up bright and early, so her spell slots would recharge. Because she only had one spell slot of the level that Modify Memory was. But anyway, she woke up early, and she realized that if people found out that she fucked with Joran's memory, everyone would be angry at her. Right? Well, obviously, because she's fucking with memory magic, which is really bad. So she was like, okay, but what if, right? What if I didn't know that I cast Modify Memory on Joran? What if it was literally impossible for me to, remember it? Because we had a druid who had, Zone of Truth, I believe, and I had Zone of Truth. No, either the druid had Zone of Truth and I had Zone of Truth, or just I had it. But basically, I could use Zone of Truth and then I'd have to tell the truth. So Luna used modified memory on herself to make her forget that she had used modified memory on herself and that she had used it on Joran. And then she rewrote her own memory, so she thought she got up early to like play a prank on the Giants, which she did. She covered the treasury in mayonnaise because she thought it would be fucking funny, which it was. It was hilarious. It was the funniest shit ever. And until we were getting paid, then it wasn't funny. But anyway, that happened. And then Joran wakes up in the morning. We were all planning on going for like a swim because they had like some pools nearby, and we were going to like have a fun beach episode day. And Joran wakes up. She's in a really good mood, and Larimar, who's our druid, played by my friend Noah, who, God bless his soul, I fucking love Noah. Joran's in a happy mood, and Larimar is like, "Oh, Joran, why are you in such a good mood?" And Joran's like, "Well, Larimar, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just in a happy..." No, she didn't say that. She was like, "Oh, I'm just happy that we're going to the beach." And then, Joran goes to wake everyone else, all the boys up, because Luna's twin brother Geralt and Char are very heavy sleepers. So she goes to wake up Char, and Char's already awake, and Joran goes up and kisses him, and it's like morning, and then Char's just like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, she didn't say that. Like, he had like the "what the fuck just happened" reaction, but he didn't resist because he's like madly in love with her. And then we had a normal day. Everything was cool. Luna got really lucky, and a couple of important plot moments happened. So Char and Joran weren't alone to talk about that at all, which is great because that means Luna got to get away with it for quite some time, right? Which is great. And then one day when we were back on the airship, things go badly, but Luna's mega brain, right? So let's continue. Joran goes up to Char and is like, just kind of flirting and stuff, and Char's like, "Why are you being so flirty with me all of a sudden?" Because Char's like, "This is kind of strange now that I think about it." And Joran says, "Well, because we're a couple, obviously." And Char's like, "Wait, what?" And Joran's like, "What? What? Why are you so shocked?" It's like, "What do you mean we're a couple?" It's like, I asked you out, and you said no. You asked me out, and I said yes." And then Charles like, "That never happened." And Joran goes off at Char. She's getting so fucking mad. She's like, "How dare you, you fucking swine! You all men are the same, blah blah blah." And she storms off to her room, right? And then Char goes to talk to Geralt, who's basically his best friend and also Luna's twin brother. And it's like, "Yeah, Joran said this, that's weird, and this and that." And, they're cheering each other up, they're both having a drink. And then Joran's, like, sitting in her room, kind of, like, pissed at Char. And then all of a sudden, Joran has like, a thought. And she's like, "Wait a fucking minute, we have a trickster cleric." And she fucking bursts out of her room, comes to, like storms over to Luna, and Luna, I believe I was doing tarot card readings because Luna got really into tarot cards because she found some for like a discounted price and she was doing like fortune readings for people on the airship. I think she was doing one for Larimar. And then like Joran like pulls that dagger, like pushes it to Luna's throat, and it's just like, "What the fuck did you do?" Like exactly like that, and Luna's like panicking. And she's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Fucking tell me!" And Luna like confesses like all of her pranks. Like, "It was me that covered the treasury in mayonnaise. What else did I say? I replaced the I messed with the food to put the spicy ingredients in it." And she confessed to like switching because she did a prank where she switched the names of the dorm rooms to make like Geralt accidentally walk into Larimar's room, all the boring pranks. Then Joran's like, "No, you fucked with my memory, or Charles' memory. You fucked with one of our memories." And Luna's like, "No. It's like, you just fucking dead." And Luna's like, "No, I would never do that. That would be terrible." And then all the other party members come over and try to like restrain Joran because she's like trying to straight up kill, well, not kill, but like threatening Luna, and Luna's like crying. She's like tears rolling down her eyes. She's like, she's trickster, but she is baby. She is baby. And like, you know, they kind of get separated, and like people are like, Luna, look what happened, and she's like, Joran's just accusing me of like modifying everyone's memory, and I would never do that. And then Geralt's like, all right, Luna, like, you need to stay away from Joran. And then we do our normal thing. We have Night Watch, right? And Luna is on Night Watch by herself because everyone else is tired, and the only other person that can do it with her, because we usually have it in we do Night Watch in pairs. The only other person that could do it is Joran, and they kind of wanted to keep Joran and Luna away from each other, obviously. And then a surprise visit from Joran. Joran ends up coming on deck, and Luna like pulls out her sword and her shield. And she's like, "Stay back!" And Joran's like, "No, Luna, I just want to talk to you." And Luna's like, "All right," because she's super trusting. And she puts her stuff away. She still keeps her shield nearby. And Joran like sits down next to her. They're kind of like sitting on the airship, you know, kind of looking at the sky. And Joran's like, "Luna, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did yesterday." And Luna's like, "Nah, it's fine. Most people try to react like that to me," which is true. She pulls a lot of like really bad or really good pranks at really bad times. Like one time, she has invoked duplicity, so she can make an illusion double of herself, and she made her illusion double fall off the airship as a joke, and everyone freaked out because again, their last cleric fell to their death off the airship, so they thought it happened again, and everyone got pissed off because, again, I as a player knew because it was my character, but Luna didn't know that had happened, so she thought it was a funny prank, and everyone got pissed off at her. But anyway, back to current time. And Joran was like, if you did do it, right, but you might not have, but if you did do it, I understand that you thought you were helping. You weren't trying to do anything harmful, you were playing a prank. And you thought that, you were correct in thinking that I do have feelings for Char. And I see that you were trying to help. And then they had like a cis man's like hug, and it was really wholesome. And then we ended up like doing some other stuff, right? And then eventually it got to the point where we were like, we need to figure out what's going on, because like we weren't certain, like they weren't certain if like an enemy had modified our memory, or if Luna had done it, or if there was some like time travel things involved. We were all very, very confused. So the Zone of Truth was cast on Luna, and Luna was asked one simple question: did you cast Modify Memory on Joran or Char? And Luna, because Luna has to tell the truth in Zone of Truth. It's D&D rules. But again, if you remember correctly, Luna had cast Modify Memory herself on herself earlier in the adventure. So Luna didn't know that she'd fucked with Joran's memory. So Luna said no. And as far as everyone was concerned, she was telling the truth, so she got away with it. Until Larimar was like, wait a minute, what if Luna cast Modify... But by the way, none of the players knew that I'd cast Modify Memory on Joran, or that I'd cast it on myself. The only people that knew it, that I cast it on Joran, were me, Regan, and the DM. And the only people that knew I cast Modify Memory on myself was me and the DM. The other players had no fucking clue. But Larimar was like, wait a minute, what if Luna cast Modify Memory on herself to forget that, to change it to Modify Memory, that she wouldn't remember casting it on Joran. And everyone was like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. That's like a huge brain move. And then all the players looked at me, and I was like, maybe, I don't know if that happened, like, I don't know. It's like, yes you do know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you though. And basically what was going to happen was the cleric, no, the druid was going to have lesser restoration, because use that to undo or modify memory if it's like low level. They were going to prepare it when we had free time, because we were in a bunch of battles, so they didn't have time to repair it. Like free spell slot spaces. So during the rest time, they were going to do that. They were going to use lesser restoration on me. And the best part was, the adventure got so hectic that no one remembered to do it. And then Shah and Joran ended up becoming an official couple, and it's all thanks to Luna, and she got away with fucking with everyone's memories, and that was the biggest brain thing I'd ever done. And at the end of the campaign, I told everyone, I finally revealed to everyone, yeah, that's exactly what Luna did, and everyone lost their fucking shit. It was so funny. Everyone was like, oh my god, Cal, you're a fucking genius. They were like, oh man. Dude, Luna, Isilda, and Elise, Elise, are my favorite D&D characters I've ever made. Being in that campaign was just so much fucking fun. But yeah, everyone lost their fucking shit, and it was the best thing ever. They were like, Cal, you're fucking massive brain. And I was like, yeah, I am. And then in the next campaign we're doing, which is a sequel, like 5 or 10 years, 5, 10 or 15, I can't remember, years after that campaign. And I'm really excited for it. In fact, I need to get art commissioned of Luna. I want to get like pre-time skip Luna and post-time skip Luna. Because after that campaign, Luna ended up opening an orphanage. It's just fucking awesome. No, not an orphanage, it's a school. It was going to be an orphanage. But then we realized there was already one in Waterdeep. So instead, it was called Tymora's Luckiest. And it was a home for underprivileged children. And it was completely funded by Luna, and partially by the Lords of Waterdeep. But yeah, I'm excited for that campaign. Man, I love Luna. She's like my favorite D&D character I've ever made. Just because of like her awesome pranks. I actually have this little book where I write prank ideas in. Like, I write it in character as Luna. But I have this little book, and at the start of the book, it actually says, like, all pranks are written in Celestial. So, like, if any of the players at the session find Luna's book or pick up the book, it's canonical that Luna writes it in Celestial, which is, I think only she and our druid know it, but our wizard can read it through this spell. But anyway, it's written in Celestial, and any pranks that she really, really wants to hide, like people not to know, are written in Celestial, but like backwards. So it's really inconvenient for anyone whose first language isn't Celestial. Luna's big. Like, people look at Luna and you're like, oh, you're a fucking bimbo idiot. But no, Luna's smart. She just doesn't apply herself in anything except for pranks. She's a high tier character. I love her. I love Luna so much. But anyway, that's the end of that story. That was a big, long story. Apologies if I bored anyone. I just thought it was really interesting to tell.